The theater lights dimmed, and a soft murmur rolled through the audience as a 13-year-old girl walked onto the America's Got Talent stage. She looked almost fragile under the bright spotlights, dressed simply, her hair neatly tied back, her hands clasped together as if she were holding on to courage itself. Her shy smile made her seem younger than her age, and the judges exchanged gentle looks, clearly expecting something sweet, maybe a quiet song or a simple dance. When asked about her talent, her voice was soft and polite, barely rising above a whisper. No one in the room suspected what was about to happen. As the music began, it started innocently enough. A slow, melodic intro filled the theater, and she stood still, eyes closed, breathing deeply. For a few seconds, it felt like the calm before a storm. Then, suddenly, the beat dropped. Her body snapped into motion with shocking force, her posture transforming in an instant. The sweetness vanished, replaced by raw intensity. Her face twisted into a fierce expression, her movements sharp, aggressive, and unbelievably powerful. Gasps echoed through the audience as people leaned forward in their seats, stunned by the sudden change. She moved like something unleashed, combining precision, speed, and emotion in a way that felt far beyond her years. Every step hit the beat perfectly, every gesture told a darker story. It was as if an entirely different person had taken over her body. The judges' eyes widened, mouths slightly open, unable to hide their disbelief. This was not just a dance, it was a transformation. The innocent child they had seen moments ago was gone, replaced by a performer with the presence of a seasoned professional. As the performance built, her energy only intensified. She spun, jumped, and struck the stage with fearless confidence, commanding every inch of space around her. The audience erupted into cheers halfway through, clapping in rhythm, feeding off her fire. When the music finally stopped, she froze in a final pose, chest heaving, eyes blazing. For a heartbeat, there was silence. Then the theater exploded. The crowd leapt to their feet, screaming and applauding as if they had just witnessed something historic. Episode 2 picked up with the judges still trying to process what they had seen. One by one, they praised her fearlessness, her control, and the emotional impact of her performance. They spoke about how rare it was to see such contrast executed so perfectly, especially by someone so young. When the votes came in, it was unanimous. She was going through, and the smile that returned to her face was once again that of a shy 13-year-old girl, humble and grateful. Backstage, she admitted that dance was her way of expressing feelings she couldn't put into words. On stage, she wasn't pretending to be a monster, she was releasing strength, anger, and passion she carried inside. Her next performance was even more anticipated, and when she returned to the stage, the atmosphere buzzed with excitement. This time, the audience was ready, but still, she managed to shock them. The second performance was darker, bolder, and even more controlled. She played with silence and sound, slow movements and explosive power, keeping everyone on edge. The judges stood before the routine even ended, unable to contain themselves. By the final beat, it was clear she wasn't just a contestant anymore, she was a phenomenon. A 13-year-old who walked onto the stage looking innocent, and walked off as a monster in the best possible way, proving that true talent knows no age. By the time episode 3 arrived, the young performer was no longer just another contestant. Her name buzzed through the theater before she even appeared, and the audience felt charged with expectation. When she stepped onto the stage again, she looked calm, almost serene, as if she hadn't already shocked millions. The judges greeted her warmly, but there was a seriousness in their eyes now. They knew they were about to witness something special, and they were ready to be surprised all over again. The music for her third performance began quietly, with a haunting tone that immediately pulled everyone in. She started slowly, controlling every breath and movement, allowing tension to build. Instead of rushing into power, she let silence and stillness speak first. Then, with a sudden shift, the transformation happened again, but this time it was deeper and more layered. Her movements told a story of struggle, fear, and strength colliding. It felt less like a shock and more like a journey, and the audience followed every second without blinking. As the routine unfolded, her control became even more impressive. She played with sharp angles and fluid transitions, moving between grace and aggression effortlessly. The judges leaned forward, completely absorbed. You could see their reactions change from surprise to pure admiration. This was no longer about being shocked by a young age, it was about recognizing true artistry. When she hit the final beat and collapsed into stillness, the silence was heavy and emotional before the crowd erupted in applause. The judges' comments in episode 3 reflected how far she had come in such a short time. They spoke about her growth, her maturity, and her ability to command emotion. One judge said it felt like watching a full story unfold without a single word being spoken. Another admitted that she made them forget how young she was, because her performance felt timeless. When the results were announced, she advanced again, tears welling in her eyes as she hugged her family backstage. Episode 4 raised the stakes even higher. This time, the pressure was undeniable. The competition was tougher, and every performance mattered. When she returned to the stage, her expression was focused, determined, and fearless. The opening notes of the music were intense, setting a dramatic tone from the start. She didn't wait long to unleash her power, diving straight into bold, explosive movements that filled the stage with energy. What made this performance unforgettable was her confidence. She owned every second, every beat, and every emotion. The monster within her wasn't just about aggression anymore, it was about control, storytelling, and presence. She shifted seamlessly between darkness and light, showing vulnerability one moment and unstoppable force the next. The audience reacted instantly, cheering loudly, clapping, and even screaming in excitement as the routine reached its peak. As the performance ended, the judges jumped to their feet. Their praise was immediate and overwhelming. They talked about how she had evolved from a surprising audition into a complete performer with a clear identity. One judge even said she was no longer competing with just her category but with the entire show. The crowd roared in agreement, chanting and applauding as she stood on stage, breathing hard, eyes shining. When the episode concluded, it was clear that her journey had become one of the most memorable of the season. She had proven that innocence and power could exist in the same person, and that true talent doesn't need time to grow when passion fuels it. From a quiet 13-year-old to a commanding force on one of the world's biggest stages, she continued to redefine expectations, leaving everyone eager to see how far her monster would carry her.